This podcast is part of the Garnet Media Group podcast network. Garnet Media Group is a partnership between the student-run media outlets at the University of South Carolina. Find out more about Garnet Media's podcast and other student work on garnetmedia.org.
On Friday, June 24th, the Supreme Court officially reversed Roe v. Wade, no longer making abortion a constitutional right.
In response, protests were held across the country, including here in Columbia at the South Carolina State House.
I'm Calista Pushman.
And I'm Caroline Smith. You're listening to In the Loop with SGTV News 4.
As of last Friday, abortion is no longer a constitutional right, sparking protests across the state.
Rising gas prices across the country have inspired a gas boycott this weekend.
And finally, a happy update to last week's story about a missing Sumter canine. The overturning of Roe v. Wade has been on the radar since the 5-4 decision was leaked back in May, but that did not stop the outcry from protesters across the nation.
Here in Columbia, 3 official protests have been held at the South Carolina State House. Here are some of the chants that could be heard.
Myself and Will Kronsberg were able to speak exclusively with protester Lakin Gross, who was approached by the police at the protest. Lakin went to the Abort the Court protest on June 26th wearing rave attire. She had "My Body" written on her chest and stomach, both literally and metaphorically putting out the core message of the pro-choice movement. Here's a bit of what she had to say about her experience.
It is really, really beautiful to be out here and see so many people from so many different walks of life, so many men here, surprisingly, so many different demographics. It is really beautiful. I mean, I think there's people here that I would never have probably found myself associating with, and we're all brought together for this common cause.
As of today, 10 states have placed a total ban on abortion, but it is expected that another 16 U.S. states are either certain or very likely to join that total.
Here in South Carolina, a 6-week fetal heartbeat bill has been signed into law.
The overturning of Roe v. Wade has implications beyond concern for the safety of those capable of pregnancy.
Other Supreme Court rulings that protect rights such as gay marriage, interracial marriage, and married couples' use of contraception could also be challenged.
Even more, the question of religious freedom has entered this nationwide debate. News 4 reporter Grace Weismantel joins us now to tell us more. How are you, Grace?
I'm doing well, Calista.
Now, many protesters who stand for abortion rights have called for a separation between church and state, calling out government leaders for using their own religion to justify their pro-life stance on abortion.
Yes, one of the biggest arguments for the separation of church and state in this situation is that the laws created by our government regarding abortion do not align with the beliefs of minority religious groups. For example, in Muslim religion, it is agreed upon that abortions are allowed for up to 120 days of pregnancy. This belief greatly contrasts heartbeat bills that have been passed in America, which only allows abortions a few weeks after conception. With Christianity acting as the most prominent religion in the nation, members of minority religions do not believe that freedom of their own religious beliefs is being reflected in these laws. I spoke with the president of the Muslim Student Association, Faria Faye Hussein, about her reaction to the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
I was shocked, devastated, really, to me, it's nonsensical to overturn it. There's no front that I can understand, at all. So I was in shock, and I'm still devastated about it.
And can you tell us a bit about what you learned from Faye?
Faye was able to give me her perspective on the overturn of Roe v. Wade and what it meant for her as a member of the Muslim community and other minority religious members in a predominantly Christian government.
When the state that you live in, and unfortunately the laws that you're going to be living under are reflective of Christian values as opposed to secular values, as opposed to separation of state, it has that mental effect on religious minorities and especially like Muslim students to see that once again we are pushed to the side, not considered, because this law does not reflect our religion, it does not reflect our values.
They also raised a concern for the future of religious minorities regarding the freedom of religion in a post-Roe v. Wade world.
Do I have the right to sue Texas or sue South Carolina or hinder, like if I want an abortion, do I have the right to sue them on the grounds of religious freedom because my religion does give me this protection. It gives me the bounds of where I can have an abortion for these reasons that is more permissive than South Carolina currently does. So.
All right, Grace, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Gas prices across the country are at a record high. The current federal average of gas prices is $4.99. In some states, drivers are paying over $5 a gallon.
A growing group of social media users have a plan to lower gas prices. SGTV News 4 reporter Riley Hackett has more.
If you've scrolled through TikTok in the past few days, you've most likely seen videos about a gas boycott. Conversations about this boycott began with a TikTok video by user Aiden's98 Prelude. In the video, he calls for TikTok users to boycott buying gas July 3rd through 5th. The purpose of the proposed boycott is to lower gas prices. It's not guaranteed that the boycott will happen, but the video now has 2.4 million likes and 162.8 thousand shares.
Now, in the video calling for a boycott, the user mentions that this has been done before. What does he mean?
So he says in the video that a gas boycott has happened and worked before. Although he doesn't specify what he's talking about, most of the comments on the TikTok are discussing a gas boycott in 2008. The price of gas in 2008 was even more expensive than it is now when adjusted for inflation. In the fall of 2008, the price of gas went down. However, experts have explained that the recorded decrease in gas prices was not due to a boycott. The prices fell because Wall Street collapsed, and shortly after, the country went into a recession. There's also a chance that the user was referencing the gas boycott of 1997, which was mentioned in the comments too. The gas boycott of 1997 was also referenced in a viral Facebook post calling for a similar boycott in April. But according to experts, no gas boycott really took place in 1997, and if it had, it wouldn't have brought down gas prices.
So if boycotts weren't the cause of prices going down in 2008 or 1997, is it likely that a gas boycott will bring down prices now?
Well, multiple economists, including Joseph von Nessen, a research economist with the University of South Carolina, have considered whether the boycott will work, and the consensus is that it will not. Von Nessen says prices would only go down if there was a decline in consumption for a longer period of time. The proposed boycott will only last 3 days, which is not really enough time to change the demand for gas, and therefore the price.
Thank you, Riley.
Thank you.
Last week, we covered a Sumter police canine named Jake that went missing.
And SGTV News 4 reporter Will Kronsberg is here to give us an update on the story. How are you, Will?
I'm doing well, Caroline. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So tell us, did there end up being a happy ending for this developing story?
I'm glad to say there certainly was a happy ending. The Sumter Police Department reported that Jake was found safely after going missing the morning of Sunday, June 19th. Jake was assisting the department in a search for a missing elderly member of the community when he got away from his tracking team. Luckily, a nearby household found Jake, kept him safe until officers were able to find him and give him some much-needed water and electrolytes after a long day in the sun. As for the search Jake was initially taking part in, everyone was found safely, so I nominate Jake as an honorary Carolina Canine for this podcast.
As he should be nominated, the goodest of boys. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Of course, everyone is looking forward to the holiday weekend, and with that comes some pretty sweet 4th of July events. This celebration in particular happens to be on July 2nd.
The Fort Jackson Independence Day celebration at Hilton Field will be holding a slew of events commemorating the 246th anniversary of U.S. independence.
From picnics to performers to play areas, the celebration has something for everyone.
It will be running from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., ending with a fireworks show.
All right, so just a couple events happening in South Carolina this week. First off, we have Rainbow Kitten Surprise, an alt-rock indie band with a pretty silly name, coming to the Woodlands Nature Reserve in Charleston, South Carolina on Friday, July 1st. Now, Caroline, I have to say, as a newfound cat person, this band already sounds right up my alley.
It really does. If you have to take your cat to this concert.
I do. Maybe I'll decorate his like portable cat carrier backpack with like some rainbows. I don't know how to capture the surprise besides like, writing surprise on the bubble, but he's going to be the mascot, the main event, besides the main
If you
event.
bring the cat to the concert, I feel certain that everybody around you will be surprised.
If I'm not taken on stage, not worth it. Absolutely
not worth it.
All right, what else is going on, Caroline?
We've also got a really cool music festival called Soulfest Rollfest happening this Saturday, July 2nd from noon to 6 p.m. in Earlwood Park. This music festival is all about bikes, bands, and beer, if you're of age, of course, and it's the first ever bike-powered stage in Columbia. And I don't know about you, but sustainability is a big, important issue to me, so this sounds like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's definitely a very fun and like very welcoming way to really like help that sustainability movement that we very, very much need. It's a little bubble of positivity in some very heavy news, So definitely an event that's close enough by that, I'll probably end up finding myself at. Probably use the exercise, probably use the time to listen to some tunes.
Indeed.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
And
what else we got?
Some more good stuff. The Columbia Fireflies are having their own Independence Day celebration, this time actually on the 4th of July. Nothing says America like some good old baseball. So you can go catch the game and there'll be fireworks at the end. As all home Fireflies games are, it'll be at Segra Park. Now, I still have not found myself at a Fireflies game, but what better to make the first one with a fireworks show? You can't go wrong with that.
What better to make it? We've got a semi-pro summer league team here in my hometown, and they always have a big fun fireworks display at the end of their baseball game too. So I'm sure that'll be a really exciting game.
All right. Now, sadly, our podcast doesn't end with fireworks, but we do have a weather update. So as for that summer heat, today's high is 81 degrees, while the low is a, relatively speaking, cool 74. Now, you can expect more of that classic Columbia humidity through the holiday weekend with chance storms and showers tonight, Sunday, and sadly, Monday. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average decreased by 254 points, the NASDAQ decreased by 150 points, and the S&P 500 went down by 33 points. Keeping you in the loop, I'm Calista Pushman.
And I'm Caroline Smith. Join us next week to stay in the loop.